Many years ago, I wrote a poem simply entitled Ponder This. I will share it with you because I believe it is quite relevant today, especially given what we've gone through in the last couple of years. And I know there are many people who feel as though they've been cheated of time. So I will read the poem for you because, of course, after writing it for so many years, I do not know it by heart. And after sharing it with you, then I'm going to expand a bit more on it so that you'll have something of substance to take away to truly ponder upon in your life. So bear with me. So this poem, as I said, is entitled Ponder This. Where is life taking me as I'm attached to all that I do and have? As I hustle and bustle about my day, I wonder, what am I missing along the way? Do I notice the pure white clouds above that add beauty to the day? Or do I pay attention only when they're gray because they may spoil my day? Do I appreciate the good that comes from a rainy day? Or do I only give thanks for a sunny day as I can go out and play? Do I really listen to what you say? Or do I add judgment to what you say and do? How can I feel your pain when I'm wrapped up in my own mind? Do you know who you are? So how can I expect you to know who I am? Do I really care when I do not have the time to stop and share? What is time? What is the purpose of time? To get up, go to work, make money, go out, spend it, and do these over and over each day? What is the purpose of all of this? Ah, time. If only we could stop to note time, what would we really do with it? Would we truly appreciate the gift of time? Would we care more, feel more, be kinder and more compassionate? Would we listen better, be less attached, and would we know ourselves? Would we find true joy, and would we love deeper? Would we stay still and experience the preciousness of this moment in time? Or would we become restless and once again get lost in time? So, where is life taking you? Do you know what life is? Will you stop to find the answers to these questions? If you do, maybe you might just find peace, bliss, and freedom in the end. The real questions are: do you view your time as being limited to a lifespan of what you're experiencing here on earth? Maybe it's 60 years, 70 years, 80, 90 years here on earth. Or do you live as though your time continues after you leave this body? Because we know by now that our body is not who we are. It is our vehicle of transportation. It is the instrument used for us to have an experience here on earth. That in fact you do live on. And therefore, what are you really doing with your time to prepare for the continuation of your life after this current earthly experience here on earth? Recently someone told me, she said, you see these four walls around me that I live in? That is enough for me. I am not running after more or fighting for more. She is actually preparing to meet her maker and therefore to find peace within her soul and to not let things bother her anymore. She is seeking to become a better human being by becoming a little bit more loving, more compassionate and helpful and peaceful. She's serving God and selflessly serving those in need. And she's deepening her intimate relationship with her maker, with God. Clearly, this person understands that life is not just this that is happening here. So she is using her time to prepare for eternal life after discarding this body. So, based on this topic of time, I encourage you to ask yourself some more questions, such as how are you preparing for after this time you spend here on earth? What will you be taking with you after you discard this body? Isn't it? Because we know we're not going to be taking all our possessions, all the material stuff. And I have nothing against that because I believe it's very important to have a certain amount of material stuff to provide us with a level of comfort and to enjoy our experience here on earth. But we're not taking that with us. So you need to stop and ask yourself, what are you going to be taking? And really and truly, what you're going to be taking are your characteristics, your traits, good and bad, how much unresolved issues you're going to be taking with you. Whatever is unresolved in you, that is what is going to be taken also. You're going to be taking your state of being. So you really need to stop and ask yourself and ponder upon what it is you can start doing right now with your time to improve as a human being so that you can actually give a good account to your maker when you meet and be ready for that meeting. Are you running unnecessarily after more and more? And if so, ask yourself why. How is this helping you to evolve consciously? Now, some of us have to go after more because we do not have enough to make it through until we're ready to discard this body to help us survive here on earth. And that is a necessity, and that is fine. But when you're running after more, ponder this. And I'm going to share with you a post I did on social media, and it's called Spiritual Ascension. I want you to think about this. It says God wouldn't ask you necessarily how much money you made in life and why you didn't reach your potential of making more, but He will ask you about how you helped improve people's lives. How did you treat them? How did you transform? And whether you ascended to the potential of a divine nature as you are made in His image and likeness. So, if you are not running after more unnecessarily, are you wisely using your time then to come to know who you truly are beyond this vehicle of transportation, your body, so that you can at least become free and highly elevated, conscious, and a blissful being? To be in that elevated state of being, to take with you into the continuum of life after shedding this body. Because wherever and however you leave off in this life, so shall life continue on, as life does not stop when you discard this body. You continue. So ask yourself, how would you like this span of life that you're living here on earth to end? Do you want it to end by always being in conflict with your thoughts, yourself, others, and situations, as being the state you take with you after leaving this body? Or would you like it to end in peace and harmony and some level of aliveness and goodness in you to take with you? In order for this to happen, you must actually be using your time right now in this span of life here on earth to attain that state, to go beyond all your negativity and bitterness. Recently, I know this gentleman who passed away. And this gentleman was a very kind-hearted person to me, actually. But then he became very bitter, not just to me, but to everybody who came in his path. And it's because he harbored a lot of negativity. And he ended up alone and very bitter and resentful. And it was sad to know that this is how his life ended here on earth, thinking that this is all there is to life, when really and truly he'll come to realize that his life continues, and taking with him this bitterness and resentment. So I encourage you to give thought to this so that you don't continue your life like this after you discard your body. Ask yourself, are you wasting your time destroying unnecessarily and then have to use what little precious time you have here on earth to rebuild, whether it is the environment, the natural resources we have here on earth, because we're not using it responsibly, our family lives, our relationships, our careers, whatever it may be. Why not use your time wisely instead to improve and preserve the good you already have, not destroy and break it down and then have to spend time now to fix. But if you've already destroyed, please, of course, use your time to rebuild, but rebuild on a stronger foundation. Build better now than ever in this lifespan, so that you are able to leave this world in a better state and a better state of being, so that your life can continue on into a better place, into a better state of being. How many of you have actually used this time in history, especially over the last couple of years, when you were not able to go running around like a chicken without a head, running here, there, everywhere, trying to get so many things done, involved in so many crazy activities? How many of you actually use this quiet time when the world was in a lull to bring healing into your life, to heal your relationships, instead of being in constant battle with others? How many of you made an earnest effort to let go of psychological baggage, things such as guilt and anger, shame, resentment, judgments, feeling like failure, and at least trying to improve yourself? How many of you had loved ones who were very alone physically and inwardly, broken during this period of time, and yet you made no effort to help them process this time in their life, to make them feel as though they're not alone, to provide them with understanding and comfort and support, to give them hope and to help improve them, to encourage them, to inspire them, instead of judging and keep pushing them down? How many of you used your time to really notice that your loved ones or people that you know are actually hurting during this period of time, and they might be covering it up, trying to be strong and show you that they're strong? How many of you have tuned into them and tuned into their needs, not with judgment, not with new age ideas of, oh, they must be, you are where you need to be, and all that kind of stuff, but to really encourage them so that they would have hope to make progress in life? How many of you take all the enlightened knowledge that you've acquired over from social media and have actually just archived it, and therefore wasted precious time just accumulating knowledge, spending time on social media and doing nothing with it? How many of you actually applied it to your life to improve and become more spiritually elevated and more expansive? Or are you very busy correcting everybody in life and not yourself? I will tell you, if you spend your time doing that, be very careful, because those people you're trying to correct, because they're wrong and you're right, they might actually listen to you and become better human beings while you remain stuck in all your self-rightness, right? Or self-righteousness. And they might actually get ahead of you in becoming more spiritually expansive. So, are you taking yourself seriously and trying to fix yourself up within? Or are you too busy trying to get others to fix up themselves within? If you didn't do any of these good things, do you really want to drag all of this unfinished business into the continuum of life? All the unfinished negativities that you have accumulated? Please ponder all these questions. I want you to not only ponder these questions, but to also come up with other questions that are relevant to your life and to actually do something very beneficial with your questions. Let me encourage you to invest your time wisely and value it enough to pay attention to you, to become awake to you, to what you are learning and discovering about you, to sort out all what needs to be sorted out within you, so you don't have to carry that forward into the continuum of life. Notice what you are saying yes and no to and how these are benefiting you, and at the same time, how they're helping others, especially your loved ones. Keep asking yourself, what is your time worth to you? How are you using it to progress as a spiritual being, to ascend to a higher state of consciousness, so your life's experience would be less painful, freer, and more blissful, as being that state of being that you want to take with you into the continuum of life when this lifespan comes to an end, when you actually are ready to discard this body, so that you get closer and closer and more aligned with your divine nature to reflect the image and likeness of God.